All right, today we're diving into a poem that just grabs you by the heart. It captures this single gut punch of a moment that honestly many of us will face, that sudden, shocking realization that our parents are getting old. We're going to deconstruct Kamala Das's My Mother at 66, a really beautiful look at love, aging, and that unspoken fear of saying goodbye. So, let's get right into it. You know that moment? It's so jarring, isn't it? One minute, they're just them, the person you've known your whole life. And the next, it's like a switch flips, and you suddenly see the fragility, the years on their face. That universal feeling right there is the entire emotional engine of this poem. It's the spark that sets everything in motion.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Where does this powerful moment even happen? Well, the poem starts with something totally normal, almost mundane. The poet is just driving her mother to the airport in Cochin, India. It's a simple car ride, a moment of travel, of departure, and that really sets the stage for the whole emotional journey that's about to unfold.
And bam! There it is, the knockout punch. While her mother is just dozing in the seat next to her, totally vulnerable and unaware, the poet glances over and is hit with this absolutely shocking comparison. Her mother's face isn't just old, it's ashen. It's like a corpse. I mean, what a blunt, painful way to realize that your own mother is mortal, that she's frail.
And this is where the poem's brilliance really kicks in. That phrase, like a corpse, isn't just a description, it's way more than that. It's a symbol. It stands for the poet's sudden, terrifying confrontation with the idea of death itself. Suddenly, her mother isn't just getting older, she's nearing the end, and the poet is seeing that reality with this horrible new clarity.
Now, you might think this shocking sight would create some brand new fear, but what's so powerful here is that it doesn't. Instead, it just awakens something old, an anxiety that's been buried deep inside her for a very, very long time.
The poet calls it a familiar ache. And man, that phrase just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't some new, sharp pain. No, this is a dull, chronic ache. It's that recurring fear she's carried with her ever since she was a little kid. That deep, fundamental terror of losing her mom.
So, what we're really seeing is this silent, internal struggle. That childhood nightmare of being left alone comes rushing back, but now it has the weight of adult understanding behind it. And what does she do? Does she cry out? Does she say something? No. She actively pushes the thought away. She stuffs it down. It's a completely silent, internal war between this overwhelming fear and the need to just keep it together.
So, how do you push a thought like that away? Well, she does what a lot of us do when we're faced with something we just can't handle. We look for a distraction. She literally turns her head away from the quiet, still, aging figure inside the car and looks at the world rushing by outside the window.
And this contrast is just, wow, it's so powerful. Inside the car, you have her mother, pale, asleep, a symbol of frailty and time slowing down. But outside, life is just exploding. The trees look like they're sprinting past. They're so full of energy. Young kids are spilling out of their homes, full of joy and chaos and life. It's this incredible clash between old age and youth, between stillness and energy, between mortality and life itself. But you know, a distraction like that can't last forever. Eventually, they get to the airport, they go through security, and the moment of parting is here. And it's in this moment that the poet looks at her mother one last time, and a second, equally powerful image just clicks into place.
So there she is, standing a few yards away, and she sees that pale face again. Only this time she compares it to a late winter's moon. It's another image of paleness, of being washed out, but this one carries a slightly different, almost colder emotional weight.
So, why a winter moon? Think about it for a second. A winter moon isn't that big, bright, crisp moon you see on a summer night. It's often hazy, foggy, its light is weak and dull. It represents coldness, a lack of energy, a light that's fading. It perfectly captures how the poet sees her mother in that moment, weak, fragile, her life force dimming.
And that brings us to the poem's conclusion, which is just absolutely heartbreaking. Faced with all this internal turmoil, the old childhood fear, the shocking new realization, these sad comparisons, the poet has to somehow say goodbye. And what she does is so deeply, painfully human.
Let's just walk through this final moment. Each step here is a conscious choice. She stands apart. She looks again at that frail face. She feels that familiar ache, that childhood terror rise up in her throat. But she shoves it back down. She hides the pain. She says the only thing she can say. See you soon, Amma. It's a promise, but it's also a prayer. And then, the hardest part of all, she smiles.
The repetition here is everything. She doesn't just smile. The poem says she did smile and smile and smile. That's not a genuine happy smile. That is a performance. It's a shield. It's an act of pure will, a mask she puts on to hide her own terror and maybe to give her mother one last little piece of hope. She is trying so hard to be strong for both of them, even as she's completely falling apart on the inside.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. At its core, this poem is all about the unavoidable, painful reality of aging and that deep human fear of losing the people we love. And Kamala Das uses these incredible symbols to get that feeling across. The corpse-like face to show us mortality head-on, the sprinting trees and happy kids to symbolize the vibrant life that goes on, the winter moon to represent a fading light, and finally, that smile. That repeated, painful smile, which is really just a mask to hide fear and offer a little bit of hope.
And that really leaves us with this huge, lingering question, doesn't it? The poet's dilemma is one that, sooner or later, we all have to face. When you are confronted with the fragility of someone you love, how do you possibly balance your own pain and fear with the need to be strong for them? The poem doesn't give us any easy answers, but it perfectly, painfully captures the loving attempt to do just that.